During Tuesday's episode of the morning show, the hosts discussed whether parents should let their kids wear shorts all winter if they wanted to. It was a heated discussion that found all of today's hosts talking rapidly and voicing their thoughts on the matter. The discussion was a bit difficult to follow as everyone tended to speak over one another. Just as everyone had seemingly started to move on, the camera turned to Al, who looked positively exhausted by the chat. He rubbed his temples and wore a serious expression. "Let them wear the shorts. If they get cold, they'll put on long pants. Just let them go," he exclaimed. This set off the hosts agreeing with Al, 69, and once again they spoke over one another. "I couldn't hear a word you all said. You're all talking at the same time. How about talking about that?" The hosts all went quiet after Al's outburst. "Now we're afraid to," Savannah said quietly. The hosts sat in silence for just a moment and the camera went back to the weatherman. Al shook his head and continued with the day's weather segment. Doing Al right. Meanwhile, Al revealed some bittersweet news about his wife Deborah Roberts. On Monday, Al was joined by Shynell Jones and Craig Melvin on Today Third Hour. Shynell, 45, started off by saying that Dylan Dreyer wasn't there because she's still enjoying her trip. After discussing Dylan, 42, Craig, 44, asked Al how his week was. "It was sort of bittersweet," Al shared. "Well, more sweet than bitter actually." The meteorologist explained that he and Deborah, 63, took their son, Nick, back to college after having a 5-week winter break. After Shynell pointed out Al's smile, he said, "It was too long." He said that after they dropped Nick off at his dorm, he and Deborah got into their car and sang the Christmas tune, "The Most Wonderful Time of the Year." Al then went on to talk about his granddaughter and the Start Today challenge, rediscovering joy. Deborah shared a photo of her, Al, and Nick in the car on the way to drop Nick off. Sunday #blessings winter break ends and contentment begins, she captioned the post. "Knowing we're all rediscovering our places of #joy, miss you Nick, and we know you're dancing too." Along with a car selfie, Deborah posted them unloading the car and a photo of them in the snow. The last slide featured a video of the 2020 host saying, "So we just dropped Nick off at school," as she walked through the snow. Al walked up beside her and she said, "Aw, honey." They then danced and had huge smiles on their faces and Deborah laughed at the end. Family time. Deb also shared photos of the last moment Nick would be home for the semester. The Saturday before he left, she made Nick cookies and he approved. The photo featured him eating one and holding up a thumbs up with the other hand. Saturday satisfaction. Decided to make homemade oatmeal cookies to send my fave sophomore back to college. I got the stamp of approval. #family time, she captioned the photo. The family then seemed to go out to celebrate Nick's last day at home. Deb and Nick snapped a selfie, where they were bundled up in winter gear. Squeezing out the final moments of winter break, Al's wife wrote. Once they dropped Nick off, the couple sat in their car and sang "The Most Wonderful Time of the Year."